Is Scania planning a full-scale US launch? Why is a European truck being tested with a US partner? What does the new S13 powertrain have to do with it? And could Scania finally be eyeing the American market? What if the most advanced truck in the world is already here and no one officially noticed? Scania trucks were spotted in Chicago. A fire red R500 grabbing attention in Houston. And one curious move after another, Scania flying an American creator all the way to Switzerland for a press event? This doesn't feel like random noise anymore. It feels like a signal. Bruce Wilson and Ryan recently flew into Illinois to pick up a 2022 Scania R500. But this wasn't just any truck. For the past 2.5 years, it has been a development mule, helping fine-tune the new S13 powertrain alongside International. A Scania built in Europe, tested in America. They drove it from Chicago to Tennessee, then all the way to Houston for the Texas Trucking Show. The moment it pulled in, it was like a magnet. Over 500 people climbed inside. Hundreds more surrounded it with their phones up, trying to catch a glimpse. For many, it was the first time seeing a Scania in person, and it stopped them in their tracks. And hanging in the air was a question that no one wanted to say out loud, but everyone was thinking, is this the start of something much bigger? Scania has built a reputation, a global reputation on precision, performance, and longevity. In Europe, it's a benchmark. In Australia, it's a legend. In South America, it's a powerhouse. But here in the United States, Scania has remained noticeably absent. And it's not because they aren't capable. For decades, the US market has presented a unique set of barriers. First, there's the emissions hurdle. The Environmental Protection Agency has its own standards, different from the Euro regulations Scania is built around. Meeting these rules means redesigning engines, updating software, and retesting entire powertrains. That process is long and expensive, even for a company as advanced as Scania. Then comes the question of support. Selling a truck is one thing, supporting it across millions of square miles is another. Without a reliable coast-to-coast service network, Scania would risk disappointing customers the moment something breaks down. Parts availability, technician training, and roadside assistance are all required at scale. And there's culture. American truckers are deeply loyal to their brands. Freightliner, Kenworth, and Peterbilt dominate the roads. Their trucks are symbols of tradition, identity, and reliability. Any outsider faces the uphill battle of challenging not just buying habits, but belief systems. But Scania doesn't have to go it alone. In August 2021, its parent company, the Traton Group, completed its acquisition of Navistar, the makers of International trucks. That move quietly opened the back door to the US market, and suddenly, Scania had access to local know-how, established infrastructure, and a way to meet American standards without starting from scratch. So while it looked like Scania was staying away, behind the scenes, it may have been setting the stage all along. In 2024, a bright red Scania R500 was picked up from International Trucks headquarters in Chicago, Illinois. Now, this particular vehicle wasn't just another European import. It had spent the previous 2.5 years operating as a development test mule for the new S13 integrated powertrain, a joint project from Scania and International, both of which are subsidiaries of the Traton Group, a global commerce vehicle manufacturer headquartered in Germany. The collaboration was a part of Traton's modular system strategy, which integrates shared engine architecture across global brands. The R500 was equipped with Scania's tall S-Series cab and a 6x2 axle configuration, highlighting its European design roots, but its presence in the United States served a deeper purpose. Rather than being a statistic display model or promotional vehicle, this R500 was engineered for rigorous testing on American roads. It played a crucial role in validating the performance, durability, and emissions compliance of the S13 platform in real-world North American conditions. Its testing history and configuration suggest this wasn't simply a showpiece. It was a critical part of research and development efforts aimed at aligning Scania's technology with the demands of the US market. Whether this signals a broader commercial ambition remains to be seen, but the groundwork is undeniably being laid. However, the same Scania R500 had quietly undergone testing in Illinois and made a dramatic public appearance at the Scania Trucking Show in Houston. The response was overwhelming. More than 500 attendees stepped into the cab, and many of them experiencing a Scania up close for the very first time, and crowds gathered around the truck with cameras in hand drawn by its distinct European design and commanding presence. For many in the industry, the truck's appearance wasn't just a novelty, it was a statement. The buzz it created pointed to a strong appetite among American drivers, fleets, and enthusiasts for something different. It also revealed an undercurrent of curiosity. Could a premium European truck like Scania find a foothold in a market long dominated by brands like Freightliner, Peterbilt, and Kenworth? And interestingly, this R500 wasn't only seen in the United States. It also appeared at a European show in Switzerland, another indication of Scania's ongoing global push. While the truck retained its signature design elements, subtle hints in its setup suggested an evolving strategy. Some observers noted the beginnings of an Americanization effort, blending European engineering with design cues that might appeal to US buyers. Now, these public showings both in Europe and in the United States have sparked serious conversation. Is Scania testing the waters for something much bigger, or simply showcasing innovation on a global stage? Either way, the industry is watching closely. At the heart of this entire story lies one critical piece of engineering: the S13 engine. Co-developed by Scania and Navistar under the Traton Group umbrella, the S13 wasn't just a new powertrain, it's a strategic milestone. This engine was designed from the ground up with modularity and efficiency in mind. It's clean, powerful, and crucially built to meet strict EPA emission standards in the United States. And that makes it more than just a European innovation. It's a powertrain with global ambitions, including North America. The S13's design philosophy reflects Scania's heritage of engineering precision, paired with International's understanding of US trucking demands. It offers reduced weight, lower fuel consumption, and smarter emissions control, all without compromising performance. And that matters because, for the very first time, there's a powertrain that could make Scania trucks fully compliant, road-ready, and competitive in the American market. In other words, the S13 engine may be the key that finally unlocks the US for Scania. It's not just about horsepower and torque. It's about meeting the complex requirements of a highly regulated, highly competitive market, and doing so with a system that's already tested, validated, and turning heads. Now, meanwhile, something interesting is happening on the design front. European truck manufacturers, including Scania, are starting to adopt visual cues traditionally associated with American rigs. From bun-tuck leather interiors to polished chrome accents and large vertical stacks, these are not the subtle aerodynamic trucks Europe is known for. They're louder, bolder, and unmistakably American in style. Scania's recent show trucks in Europe have even featured raised cabs and sleeper modifications that mimic the long-haul look of classic US tractors. Aggressive grille designs and wider stances are showing up more frequently, clearly signaling a shift in design philosophy. Now, it's not just an aesthetic experimentation. It's strategic. These visual choices are helping close the cultural gap between what European engineers build and what American drivers admire. By aligning their look with US preferences, Scania is doing more than just turning heads. They're paving the way for easier acceptance if and when they officially enter the North American market. The message is subtle but clear. The trucks may be European, but the attitude is increasingly American. In addition, the 2021 acquisition of Navistar by Traton Group, Scania's parent company, marked a turning point in the global trucking landscape. While it appeared to be a corporate expansion on the surface, the move may have laid the foundation for Scania's quiet but calculated approach to the US market. Through Navistar, Scania now gains something invaluable: direct access to the infrastructure, dealership networks, and regulatory experience that are essential for success in North America. These assets eliminate some of the steepest barriers to entry that have historically kept Scania focused on other regions. Rather than attempting to build a US presence from the ground up, Scania could integrate into systems that are already in place. And this opens the possibility of Scania components such as drivetrains, cabs, or even entire vehicles being developed in partnership with International, tailored specifically for American fleets. This kind of strategic alignment points towards a long game. Scania may not arrive with a splashy launch or a sweeping rollout, but through measured, integrated steps within Navistar's existing footprint. If so, the path into the US market is not just possible, it's already being paved. All signs suggest that something bigger may be underway. Several key developments point towards the possibility of Scania making an official move into the US market. First, the S13 engine has successfully completed its development and testing phases, including real-world trials on American roads. This milestone eliminates a major technical hurdle for Scania, giving them a powertrain that is not only compatible with US emissions regulations, but also optimized for local driving conditions. Second, the public interest is undeniable. When the Scania R500 appeared at the Texas Trucking Show, over 500 people climbed into the cab, many seeing a Scania truck in person for the first time. And that kind of response speaks volumes about latent demand for European-style trucks that combine efficiency, comfort, and modern design. Third, Scania trucks have been appearing more frequently across US soil, not just at trade shows, but also in operational and testing roles. These sightings are not coincidental. They're signs of strategic groundwork being laid. Add to the fact that Scania doesn't have to build from scratch through Navistar. They already have access to a vast dealership and service infrastructure. And this opens up practical pathways to market, such as selling Scania trucks through international dealerships or even introducing co-branded vehicles tailored specifically to American needs. If a launch really is around the corner, it could change what people expect from long-haul trucks. Models like the Scania Longline and S-Series offer more comfort, more space in the cab, and features made with the driver in mind. Their smooth shapes and better fuel use could give American trucks some real competition, especially now that the industry cares more about saving fuel and cutting costs. The pieces are aligning and falling into place. Whether Scania moves quickly or continues to play the long game, one thing is becoming clearer. America might be coming closer than ever to welcoming a new heavyweight into its trucking industry. But at the end of the day, Scania's presence in the United States is no longer just speculation, though. It's starting to look like a calculated and strategic progression. From the quiet rollout of the S13 engine to the unexpected appearances of Scania trucks on American roads and at major shows, every move feels intentional. These are not isolated events, they're building blocks. The collaboration with Navistar gives Scania a unique advantage, such as access to infrastructure, dealer networks, and regulatory expertise that would take years to develop independently. And with growing public interest in European truck design, comfort, and efficiency, the timing couldn't be better. So the question is no longer if Scania will come to America, it's how and when. But what do you think? Could Scania truly shake up the US trucking industry? Would you drive one if they launched tomorrow? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. We want to hear from drivers, mechanics, fleet managers, and trucking fans alike. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on this story, make sure to subscribe. The next chapter in American trucking might just have a Swedish accent.